Hi everyone, my name is Russell.
My name's Richard.
And I'm Dani.
Welcome everyone. And tonight I would like to give a little special thank you to Stick for providing these winter warmer glasses. It is a 2006 edition. We needed 3 glasses and he was able to help us out, so we really appreciate that. Tonight we're going to do a little bit of something different tonight. So
we're gonna kind of talk about a competition with our guest Dani. We all bought 3 different beers that we thought were good introductory beers as far as lagers and pilsners, and so we're gonna kind of taste test them all and kind of see which one we think is the best as far as an introductory lager to craft beer.
And my pony in the race here is this pilsner, but everyone here brought a lager. It's a great way to get into the craft world if you're used to having something from the big commercial dogs. I am voting for mine right off the bat just because it's something easy to drink, especially during the summertime. They're pretty refreshing. I think I picked the winner, but we'll see.
Great. So my beer up in this race is the Sun Kings right here. I am a big fan of Vienna lagers, so if you're into Modelo, this is something that you could definitely get into that is actually an Indiana-made beer. It's going to go, very comparable to that beer style for sure. But it's basically, so it's an I'll let you do that. It is a Vienna-style lager. It features a balanced malt flavor with crisp hops, which come from the German noble hops.
Let's kick it off.
Yeah, let's see kind of what we're talking about. So,
cheers.
I was like, wow,
cheers.
Just leaving me hanging.
We're just going for it, I guess. So kind of right off the bat, you kind of notice this soft and malty kind of flavor. A lot of the elegant maltiness is kind of dried out in the finish to avoid becoming too sweet, because I really do feel like this beer would be overly like candied.
It wasn't right on the verge.
If it wasn't for the addition to like the hops and the German noble hops, I think this would be significantly too sweet to be like really classified as a beer. It'd be like drinking syrup.
Yeah, so that's kind of like what that drying out that comes from the bitterness of the hops. So that's why it has like a drying finish at the end of it. I'm pretty into this beer, to be honest. I like how sweet it is. I feel like if you're into more sweeter, refreshing beers, this is definitely one of those beers that you're going to be able to relate to.
With an ABV of 5.5, it's not too heavy. You can still
you can still drink a few of these.
Go about your day and not like be clumsying around. The IBU is only a 24, so again, really great intro beer. Like nothing really too harsh or too out there. So you can get a lot of people on board with this one. I am also a sucker for can art. And
Who isn't? Am I right?
I know. And I'm glad that more breweries are kind of getting on board with like getting a more eye-catching label. So Sun King, I think, has done a really great job with this can. They have their very recognizable little Aztec Mayan dude.
As a baseball.
Yeah, as a baseball, which I think is really clever. And it's obviously also a shout out to the Indianapolis Indians. So you see like the baseball stitching on the can all around the top. It has like this wood grain kind of like bat feel. And they have a nice little blurb about themselves and the beer on the back, which is something I really appreciate when they kind of get personable with you.
Stories,
It's like, okay, I want to support this beer. I want to support this brewery. They feel like someone that lives just down the street and I say hey to every day, you know?
Right.
So an A+ for the can art, I think. It's very eye-catching.
For sure. I think it also really captures that iconic American beer for sure.
Right.
So let's just get right into the ratings. Rate Beer gave this a 3.18 out of 5. 34 people rated on this one, so that's a decent pool size. And then we have Beer Advocate at 3.64 out of 5 with 76 different ratings. And then finally we have Untapped with 3.75 with over 3,600 different people checking in on this beer. I definitely agree with a lot of that. I think this is a 3.7 really beer. But yeah.
It's above middle of the road.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. So moving on to my beer. My beer is called Old Tavern. It's from People's Brewery Company in Lafayette, Indiana. It is a pre-prohibition American-style lager. The beer itself uses Midwest malted 6-row base malts, some flaked corn, German Munich, and flaked barley, as well as traditional hops. The result makes a nice, well-balanced lager.
Heady.
Yeah, nice and heady. With a slightly malty sweet notes. They basically brew this beer as kind of a throwback to Thiem and Wagner's original brewery back that produced local beer in the Lafayette, Indiana, between 1858 and 1953. The brewery was torn down in 1961 to build the Harrison Bridge. And fun fact, we actually do have a new bar that opened up last year called Thiem and Wagner, which they're trying to kind of reopen up and reestablish their brand and their
legacy.
Their legacy here in Lafayette.
Like bringing back the history, which I appreciate.
For sure. It's a really great little spot. David down there, he will take care of you for sure.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to have some different craft cocktails, some good whiskeys, a lot of great beer for sure. But we're talking about this beer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So cheers, my friends.
Let's go, yeah.
I'm going to do a little bit more.
Greedy.
Right off the bat, you can see the color is a little lighter than the Sun King one that we just had. It's a clean, refreshing, maybe a touch on the bitter side, but I wouldn't say that's the overwhelming flavor.
Agree.
It's definitely showcasing a more grainy, sweet corn flavor as opposed to a barley or anything like that. And then other beers that might do a malt or rice-based version of this would be on the crisper, maybe neutral even.
Right, the rice is going to give it a little bit more of a crispness to it.
But that's not this. So the higher bitterness level of this one is kind of what pushes it out in the market as a standout beer, especially in the mass market pale lager category.
Yeah.
Right. So that's definitely why this beer is on this table right now.
Yeah.
Because, talking about the canner, I think what they try to do is really capture this idea of beers along the lines of PBR and old style and those lower end beers that you're used to, but they bring a real craftsmanship to this beer and they show you how this kind of lager can taste.
Yeah.
So if you're into those types of beers, this is how you start supporting Indiana craft beers. All the money that comes from this beer stays here in Lafayette. So
it's also very simple as far as the can art goes.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what I really like about it. How simple it is. The red, white, black, 3 colors. That's all they needed. They got their point across. This is for a man who wants an easy beer or woman.
Definitely marketing towards the minimalist aesthetic. Not personally my taste. If I was just glancing through the beer aisle and I saw this one, I wouldn't be immediately impressed. Also, I think it looks a lot like old style. Very similar. So I might pass by it because I think it is that.
Because it has that look of maybe it's a cheaper beer.
It does.
It's not very distinguishable.
Yeah, but again, that's just purely based on its cover, right? I think you definitely taste the more hoppier side, which I think the brewer there, right, Chris is partial to.
He's definitely more of a hop head.
But I appreciate that. I mean, it really gives it its own style, and that it's not some mass market thing that's going to be for everyone. It's definitely a good intro beer for hop heads and soon to be IPA lovers.
Right, and then if you're going to get into the ratings and stuff like that, Beer Advocate gives us a 3.66 out of 5. That's with 3 ratings, so it's not super prevalent on their website. They didn't really get a whole lot of action or traction or anything like that with this beer. Untapped has a little bit more ratings with out of 1,400. They get rated at 3.33 out of 5, so 33%, I guess. Well, I guess that's not quite right. 3.33 out of 5. And then Rate Beer gave it 2.99 out of 5, and that's with 8 ratings. So overall, definitely not as many ratings as the Indians beer over here, but still a decent amount of check-ins on Untapped. So, which is you kind of see, especially because it's kind of an older beer.
Yeah, I think the 3.33 is a little low. I
agree with that. I think I think it should be a 3.6 at least.
I feel
3.5.
It might be low because people are expecting something else, and if you don't know Peoples, then you won't know that Chris is partial to hops and all of that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so they're expecting something really
a little less bland, a little more on the malty bounce.
Yes, exactly. And
I can see that.
So I think that's the only reason it has those kind of lower numbers, because it is a high quality beer.
I could agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. It definitely has those, like, this is pure barley, so it's 100% barley. This doesn't have that rice. It's not going to be a lower quality.
Ready for it, you're not going to.
But it's still, it's that jump. Like, you can see that lower quality beers, like old style, versus this. It's different. It tastes better. It's cleaner. It's more crisper. It has more flavor. There's just something more to this beer, but it still harkens back to those beers you're comfortable with.
Yep.
Right. I agree.
All right. So last but not least is my pony in the race, and that's going to be the best patio pills. So right there, right off the bat, it says the best. I mean, how can you argue with that?
It says it.
But I'm excited for them to try this. I think it's a great American pale lager, super refreshing, and it's a crushable pilsner, and that's their word, not mine, but I think it's a great word. We should use that to describe more things in life, but especially a beer, crushable, like something you can
common.
Pound.
It's becoming more of a common phrase for sure. I shouldn't say
in the beer world, yes, but I meant like day-to-day life.
Day-to-day.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I don't ever use that word.
Crushable?
So that's not a thing that I use. Nope.
No, like you have like some pancakes and you're like, man, these are some crushable pancakes.
Never
I'm about
said
to
that in
crush
my life.
these pancakes.
Never said that in my life.
I feel like the phrase "I crushed something" is more used than "crushable" as an adjective.
I crushed it.
I crushed that workout.
True.
But I wouldn't say it's a crushable workout.
That makes me think of the freaking Crustable sandwiches.
Oh, I got some of those.
Yeah, it is a 4.9 ABV, so very easy to drink all day.
Mine's a 4.5. I forgot about that, but
that's okay. You know, sometimes we forget things because we are not perfect and we drink lots of beer. So the overall impression of this is a substantial pilsner. This kind of beer is like really popular in Europe. Mm-hmm. The style of pilsner comes from Czechoslovakia in 1842. Right, 1842. Mm-hmm. Joseph Grohl released this his own pilsner style. Right, but here in America we use Native American grains. I'm thinking about us. I can't help it. Anyways. We use American hops, American grains for these kind of beers. They're definitely a little bit lighter. Anyways, let's talk about this beer.
All right.
It's got a drinking problem.
Hi everyone, my name's Russell, and no comments.
Go ahead, Richard.
I think that this is it's kind of the lightest of the beers. Like this one is super, super transparent. Mm-hmm. All the beers that I know that we've drank today has this distinct bubbliness to it. Like if you look at them, they all are very bubbly and effervescent. And I think that's a very key distinction between lagers and like other beers that we have, at least had on the show. Because a lot of I don't notice the bubbles as much in like nearly all the other beers that we've done on our channel. So
that's true.
I can say that that's kind of a thing. It's definitely clean. It's definitely crisp, and I don't feel like it's super like hoppy on the nose or anything like that. Like I don't think that has that overwhelming hops. I think it definitely has more of a malty lager.
It's very well balanced.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like you can taste the hops, but you can also the malts are very much so present.
Yeah. I think that's kind of my impression of it.
Yeah. So this is a very new beer, so the ratings quite aren't there, right?
Right. So like the ratings are basically from last year. This beer came out in 2017. I want to say it was March. It might have been May, but around in that area.
Right before summer.
Right before summer hit, and this is only a summer beer. It is only available during the summer.
Yeah.
Right.
So Beer Advocate gave it a 3.85 out of 5 with the one guy giving it a rating. So we have a shout out to you, man.
Shout out to you!
Appreciate it. Untapped got 354 ratings, and they gave it a 3.61 overall out of 5. And then we couldn't really get anything from Rate Beer because, again, it is very new. And
no one has done it. Will you be the first, or are you going to beat us to the punch?
No, we're definitely gonna be on there.
All right. Well.
Okay.
I make sure that we rate all these beers because Lafayette Beer League is all about everything beer related. To be honest.
So now we've had all three. I will start. And I already started this video feeling this way, so you might say I have a bias, but I really think my Pilsner, is the best of the three. It's very drinkable.
Yep.
You can have it with anything, at a barbecue, at a game, and you can have it all day. It's not super heavy. The ABV is right there, so you can just coast all day.
Right.
Having these beers.
I can do a 4-pack of this.
Yeah.
Easy.
It's a very
easy floating beer.
Yeah, it's a very refreshing beer. So I don't want to say it's like quench, like
thirst quenching.
Yeah, thirst quenching, but it is refreshing. I would say the downside is the availability of it. So obviously it only comes out for summer, and it is a very new one. So summertime right now, I would recommend it. Get all your friends hooked on it. It's awesome.
Right.
Yeah. So I really want to just be like, mine's the best because like I chose it.
Obviously.
But I just can't. I think this is a very great style, a representation of the Vienna lager, and if you're interested in this style of beer, then you're gonna absolutely love it.
Yeah.
But if you're used to drinking like your lower end domestics, I guess, then yeah, your Oval Tavern's gonna be most relatable to you. But I think for me, this Pilsner captures this idea of what artistry is in craft beer, and you're gonna get a really well balanced, well made beer. And if you're wanting to know like what is craft beer and how is it different from all these other beers out there that I just get at the like grocery store, this is what's gonna really set that apart from you, and that's why I'm gonna choose this for a great introduction beer.
I gotta agree. Like I used to bartend, so I always sold this beer to anybody who was wanting to do kind of like something different between Bud Light, Miller Lite, or Coors Light. Like any of those end-up beers, I would always say, hey,
Old Tavern,
try this one.
Yeah.
It's gonna be similar. Like I didn't give them a sample, be like, try it, see what you like. If you like it, I'm gonna give you that. And that was my always introductory beer. And that's kind of why I chose this, because I had a history of that. But again, I kind of really agree with the whole 18th Street. They really nailed this as far as
I guess we didn't say that. It's from 18th Street. I'm so
18th
sorry.
Street Brewing Company.
We also didn't talk about this cool can. We're going to have some up-close shots on our Instagram, so be sure to check those out. But the label is super cool. Number one, I love this bright green color. I think it's very summertime, very cool, right? And then they have all these little images of like classic summertime activities. Like there's a barbecue, there's a lawn chair, you know, you have somebody grilling hot dogs, there's a little bikini top here, and their little skulls that they're known for are wearing sunglasses, so you know it's summertime and it's hot.
Right, and you got fireworks there.
Oh yeah, so it's got it all.
This is summer beer.
Yeah. They're really selling that point
Really
to you,
pushing it.
and it's like a cute little I Spy game on the can, which I super appreciate.
Which also, fun fact, you can peel the sticker off.
Yeah.
Kind of keep the sticker, stick it on stuff.
That is like a new trend that is happening with these like matte labels, which I'm totally into.
Peeled one off and stuck it on the back of my laptop. But yeah, I also agree with the 18th Street being the winner here. I think that it's definitely the most introductory beer. It's going to give you the most like wide variety of understanding what craft beer could be, and with this style. Yeah,
Right.
with this style, without assaulting your taste buds if you're coming from like just drinking Coors Light or Miller Lite or any of those
Nothing too
traditional
harsh.
domestic lagers.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and that's what this whole video is about, is to help teach people that there are beers out there that are made in Indiana that are really great, and they're comparable to those beers that your domestic beers. And so this is one of the things that we want to really showcase is go out, drink local beer. It's great. It also supports your local economy, which is even better. So,
well, thank you so much for having me, Lafayette Beer League.
Absolutely.
Well,
Cheers
you're part
to
of the
you.
Lafayette Beer League, so.
True. I have our wonderful host here. I had such a good time, even though it looks like I only had a good time because I won, but I would have had a good time regardless.
We appreciate it. We try to have a good time here.
We definitely do. I've been enjoying making videos, and I think this is going to be a great addition to the
fun
future.
little series,
So make sure you like, share, subscribe, do anything to help us grow.
Interact with us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, any of those things. We'll definitely reply to you. It may not be immediately, but we will.
No, it'll be immediately. I have nothing better to do than that.
At least we're honest.
Well, one of us will reply to you at least immediately. So as always, keep exploring beer.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Mm.